Today's Country 105.7.
Today's Country 105.7. You are locked in live here. The doors are swinging wide open to the diner, and I've got my very special guest at this time. We're going to be talking about what's going on with SNAP, what's going on with the government shutdown, and how you can help your local community. It's our good friend Linda Hudson. She's the Director of Development and Community Relations at the Food Bank of Central Louisiana. Linda Hudson, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here to talk about the help that we can provide to people in the community, and also how people can help us and help feed their neighbors. That's right.
And so let's break it down a little bit. We'll talk about what everybody's talking about at the top here. SNAP, it's kind of hanging by a tightrope.
Right. We are still kind of in the waiting process to see what's going to be the final answer for the state of Louisiana. You know, across the country, SNAP benefits are not being sent out for the month of November because of the federal shutdown, but states by states are making decisions on their own. And Governor Landry, the end of last week, declared a state of emergency and asked the state legislature to provide some funding to cover SNAP for the month of November. But what that means is it's not for everyone that currently receives SNAP. So it's going to be for those that are elderly, those that are disabled, and households with children. So tomorrow, the Louisiana Senate should vote. It did pass the House, and so that vote is coming tomorrow. So we will know a definite answer after that. And with that being said, if that happens, the SNAP benefits for those people should start rolling out during the month. One thing we're encouraging people to do, check online, make sure you check and know what's in your account. If you had SNAP from previous months, those will still work in November. But even if you're expecting to get it, even if you're elderly or disabled or have children in your household, we just encourage to make sure people check it before they go to the store, because there may be a delay just because of the timing of everything. What that means, though, is about 200,000 households in Louisiana will not be receiving SNAP benefits in the month of November. So we know families receiving SNAP even struggle still, that a lot of time they don't have enough SNAP benefits to provide for themselves and their family. So we provide emergency food assistance throughout the year. We work with partner agencies across Central Louisiana. We work with Helping Hands here in Leesville, which is a strong food pantry that supports this community. We also have several mobile distributions that we do in Vernon Parish and across our 11 parishes to meet people where they are, because there are a lot of our rural communities that there isn't some place to go. And so we bring our trucks out and distribute in those communities. And so for people who need help, please reach out, call the food bank, look us up online, and we can connect you with the closest distribution point to you. Application process is easy. We need to know your name, show your picture ID, how many people in your household, and your total household income. That's all we need. Now, if they're federal employees right now, all someone needs to do is tell us they're a federal employee.
Yes.
And they can receive assistance.
Yes, because the federal employees are going on furlough. A lot of them are either sent home or they're working without a check right now, so they're feeling the pinch a little bit extra.
Exactly. And I think that most of us can probably relate. I could not go many paychecks and still be able to afford, to pay your utilities and to provide food and all of those things.
No doubt.
Most people don't have a big reserve that they can rely on. So we have our neighbors, many are still going to work, still required to go to work, or they're waiting at home, waiting to go back to work, and they're not getting paid. And through no fault of their own. And so we want to make sure that we can help as much as we can. And so another thing we like to remind people, if you are working and still being paid and have access to additional food or funds that you can help your neighbors, we certainly encourage people to do that.
Yes, indeed. It's really important that during this crisis that we've got, because, folks, the government shutdown is a crisis. I know it's a boring one. It's not the most exciting one to talk about. It's not a hurricane or a wildfire, but it is a crisis that is directly affecting the food, the livelihood, and the financial future of many, many people. So during this crisis, we all need to pull together.
Absolutely. There's lots of ways to do it. You can volunteer. Volunteer, again, at the food bank or one of your local food pantries. Donate food. The best thing is always donating funds, because food banks and food pantries have a much stronger buying power than you would get going to buy at the store. And we also know exactly what we need. And so we can buy loads of produce, we can buy shelf-stable food, and that's what we're currently doing. Unfortunately, leading up to this, we had already had cuts from USDA, so we had less food available going into this disaster. And we're serving more people now than we ever have. During the pandemic, we would distribute about 10 million pounds of food. Last year, we distributed 12 million pounds of food.
Wow.
So, and pre-pandemic, we did about 6 million pounds a year. And so the need is great. Families are struggling. Single parents are, skipping meals to try to feed their family. We know elderly have a very restricted income, and it's not like they can go out and earn extra money. Families with disabilities, people are just struggling, and food in America should not be something people are going without.
Yes, indeed. We like to think that, it doesn't happen here. This is something that's in other countries that they struggle with. But food insecurity is not something to joke around about, folks. It is something real, and it's happening right next door.
That's right. 1 in 5 people across central Louisiana are food insecure. So everybody, you may not realize you know somebody that is, but most likely everybody does.
Yes, indeed. So for donations, if they want to make a donation, tell them how they can do that, especially a cash donation.
Sure, they can.
Donation.
You can donate it through our website. That can be online. That's super fast and super easy. You can mail a check to the food bank. All of that information is available on our website. Also, again, there's Helping Hands, a local food pantry in Leesville. They certainly could use donations as well. One other thing I want to mention that's coming up is the Christmas Cheer Food Drive that's happening. We will be picking up the food from the local schools Tuesday, December 2nd. All of that food stays in Vernon Parish. We partner with the Ministerial Alliance, and it helps Operation We Care. And for schools or parents that have questions, call us. If schools want to participate, we just need to make sure we know, so we know to pick up that food on Tuesday, December 2nd.
All right. Now, switching gears just for a little bit, I wanted to kind of emphasize the operation you guys have over there. How many volunteers do you guys currently have? So
we usually have about 1,700 volunteers that help us during the year. We have individuals who may come weekly. This time of year, the fourth quarter, as we get close to the holidays, we see lots and lots of volunteers. And we like to remind people that, unfortunately, hunger is a year-round issue.
Yes, indeed.
And come January, during the summer months, we see our donations drop off. We see volunteerism drop off. But the same families that needed our help during the holidays need our help at that same time. So we encourage people to help out year-round whenever they can. But volunteers are really the backbone of our work. We have about 45 staff members, and we serve 11 parishes and distribute 12 million pounds of food. So
wow, 12 million.
12 million pounds of food. So you need a lot of people, sorting cans, boxing, putting food boxes together, bagging produce. There's just a lot of work that's involved. And it's very rewarding. This time of year, it feels much better in the warehouse than it does in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels a little better to volunteer. And again, we also encourage, volunteer locally. There's a food pantry here. Just give them a call if people are interested in volunteering here in the Leesville area. But we have a lot of schools and churches that may be coming to Alexandria for something else, and they'll have a volunteer shift as part of their day, and we always welcome that.
Yes, indeed. Now, to become a volunteer, where do they need to go? What do they need to do?
So they can just give us a call at the food bank. There's not much to it. We ask closed-toe shoes. We want to make sure those toes are covered when they're handling, cans of food. Dress accordingly to what it kind of feels like outside. And we just need to know about how many people are coming and when you're coming, so we're set up and ready for you to go.
Yes, indeed, folks. So that's all the different ways you can help. You can give them financial help. You can go and volunteer your time and really help combat this crisis. We're a very strong, resilient community. Everybody I know, they take pride in the fact that, around here we look after each other. We try to help out when there's these times of crisis, whether it is a wildfire or a hurricane. And that's what I'm saying, folks. This government shutdown and what we're facing right now is on par with some of those disasters, even if it's not directly visible.
That's right. And we encourage, obviously we are always asking for help, but look at your neighbors. Make sure your family members are taken care of. Look after your community and just help out where you can, and we're all going to get through this and be okay.
Yes, indeed. Well, Miss Linda, is there anything you'd like to part with or let us know before we ease on?
Well, just we get the majority of our support is local. Most of the funds that we raise, the food that we get, comes from our local community, and so we're helping 42,000 people every month, and so we're grateful for the community. We're grateful for our partners and everybody who works together to support our mission to alleviate hunger. So we appreciate that support.
Hey, and you can be a part of that support. Be sure to reach out to the Food Bank of Central Louisiana. Linda Hudson, thanks for stopping by today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, today's Country 105.7. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hey, we're the Zach Brown Band.
All your favorite artists.
Today's Country 105.7.